I'm on a roll and I'm ready to rock. Oh, I'm in a hurry to get living. But I'm in a hurry and don't know why. I'm in a hurry to get things done.
I enlisted, ready to serve, ready to defend, but my fight has just begun.
Help this hero win his fight. Visit hopeforthewarriors.org
My name is
today.
Kirk Bauer. I'm Executive Director of Disabled Sports USA. I was in the infantry, in the Delta region. It was an explosion. It flipped me over. I could tell I'd been hit bad. I spent 6 months in the hospital. Some veterans came to me. They had actually just begun an organization of disabled Vietnam vets and 10th Mountain Division World War II vets. When someone becomes disabled, the process of getting back into life, to regaining your confidence, to regaining your hope, to being a full participant in society is not an easy one. It's not a straight line. It's a struggle. It's a day-to-day struggle. I can't think of a better example than the young warrior that I went up Kilimanjaro with, Neil Duncan. He had been blown up in the highlands of Afghanistan. His 2 legs were off. He was breathing through a tube in his neck. You talk about a guy who's on the edge of death, who was just about finished. Neil Duncan was that man. When he finally got out of the hospital, we got him involved in sports. In his exuberance, Neil decided he was going to climb Kilimanjaro, and he just joined up with a group that didn't know anything about disabilities. They moved him too fast. He got up to 16,000 feet and couldn't make it any further. He was defeated. He had to come back. He said it was the hardest decision he ever made. He came to me and said, "Kirk, I have failed, and I can't live with myself. I know I can do the mountain, but we have to do it right. Will Disabled Sports USA help me?"
Mind strong, body strong, try to find equilibrium.
Sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back. You are going to face situations where you're going to be disappointed or discouraged or defeated. Don't let that stop you. Pick yourself back up and go on. And Neil made it to the top.
On the south, sweet potato pie, and I shut my mouth. Gone with are gonna save us all. The thing we have to fear is, well, Mama got sick and Daddy got.
All right, we'll be right back soon here on the Facebook Live of the Firehouse Country Show. We'll be right back. There's a certain vibe in Boston that starts with its people. Possibly the sarcasm, their own underlying rugged persona, or just the Bostonian culture they all embrace in. And there is no better way to share this rugged blue-collar Boston mentality than in the form of Boston's most culturally defining piece of headwear, the Scally Cap, from Boston Scally Company. Visit Boston Scally Company to order your piece of Boston's cultural history today at bostonscally.com. That's bostonscally.com. welcome back, everybody, to the Firehouse Country Show. This is your DJ, Bobby B, here on mbradio.us. I hope everybody's having a good night tonight and enjoying this fine weather before it's too late. I was just looking at the Farmer's Almanac, and they were saying this winter's going to be a bad one. So we'll see what happens. I hope not, but you never know. And that would be just our luck, though. We pounded up with snow and everything else. So, but anyways, we wanted to move right now to the Firehouse Corner. And I don't know, a lot of people might not know that's joining the show, not a firefighter or whatnot, but this is just a little, I don't know, a little bit about the Structure Fire 360. And, you know, structure firefighting is one of the most dangerous missions that any firefighter encounters. From the moment they receive the alarm, firefighters, you know, and first responders try to gather as much information as possible about the incident. As like, you know, is the reported address located in an industrial or commercial area, single family resident neighborhood, high-rise business district, multi-story structure, occupancy location, or it could even be in a wildland urban interface or brush area. But, and, you know, a couple other things, it falls, all these calls come through 911. So, you know, depending on what 911 tells you, I mean, 911 starts the call. So 911 has to be on top of their game by all means. But the dispatch received multiple 911 calls or reports of people trapped inside. I mean, right there, you know, there's a step before you even get in your gear, get in the trucks, start going. At least you know what you're dealing with. At least a lot of times, a lot of people panic. Hey, we got a fire, and hang up, you know, and you really don't get a lot of information. But the dispatch provide information about the extent of the fire and type of structure involved. And again, it goes, you know, a lot of it comes back to, you know, the dispatchers. And is there smoke showing en route to the incident? If so, how much and what type? So you could be a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles away. If it's something going good, you're going to see a lot of smoke. So, I mean, that's one sign. But the list goes on. And once on scene, firefighters try to work, you know, quickly to vet pre-arrival information and develop a clearer picture of the incident. This information gathered process is commonly referred to as situational awareness. While firefighters are always in general state of elevated awareness during an incident, their focus heightens and centers on capturing and processing as many details as possible on the way to the call and once you first get on scene. The most effective way to effectively process so much information about the incident scene and give firefighters the advantage is the tried and true Structure Fire 360. And failure to observe on the fire ground can mean the difference between life and death. In this sense, you know, SA offers valuable insight and clues to help accurately assess the size, scope, and complexity of which an incident commands, develop and revise their incident action plans, strategies, and tactics, and ultimately determine the levels to which firefighters will be exposed to a risk. Conversely, failure to gain and maintain SA may unnecessarily place the public in harm's way, leave firefighters potentially vulnerable, and put their incident commanders in a position of making decisions without all necessary information. The approach could result in unintended outcomes and should be avoided at all costs. So what is fire scene 360? It's an ongoing process. An initial size up and or on-scene report can present its own challenges towards the end. In reality, the first in-officer usually conducts the initial report of conditions from the seat of an apparatus before they even get out. I mean, usually the passenger
of the first in engine is usually the IC, incident command. It'll be an officer or a firefighter that will take command, but there's a lot of responsibility in that seat. And one of them, like you just said, is, getting the first initial size up of the incident. And the full scope of the incident may be not known at this point, but to offset the information gap and help get resources properly positioned on the fire ground, many organizations require a 360 to be performed, and the findings communicated in a follow-up report by first in officer or another officer on scene. So what that is saying, when you get out of the truck when you get out of the truck, you do a 360. You take a walk around the structure to see if you see anything, or if you do see something, see how bad, see where it's the worst, so you can get in there and battle from the worst. But when you get enough people on scene, it could be A sector, B sector, C sector, and D sector. And what that is you have a command or an officer in charge of all four sides of the structure. That way, during, the firefight and putting out the fire or the incident, whatever it may be, if it's in a dwelling, you could see everything that's going on all sides, and you'll be up to date with it, with the information coming from the ICs, the incident command, on all four sectors. But that is some of Firehouse Corner. We'll come back to it here in a few minutes. But right now, we're going to go to a little bit of music with Toby Keith, and courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue, here on the Firehouse Country Show with your DJ, Bobby B.
Lyric. Till the day that it died.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tim Wakeside. I'm the president of Tee It Up for the Troops. And like you, I've been kind of cooped up at home, and this coronavirus has us all dealing with these stay-at-home orders. And we decided, let's get outside, let's have a little fun, and let's see if we can also support America's veterans and military families. So our team at Tee It Up for the Troops put their heads together, and we're really excited to launch our new Step It Up for the Heroes Challenge. The Step It Up for the
red, white, and blue.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Firehouse Country Show on mbradio.us. And going back now a little bit more to the Firehouse Corner and Fire Scene 360. But where there are not standardized agencies should strongly consider undertaking this task for several reasons. Standardizing the 360 process will serve to strengthen operational continuity across rank and level in the organization. It provides a common platform in which to train, develop, and measure personnel. And likewise, standardization helps speed the process to complete a 360 and eliminates uncertainty or assumptions as to what particular information an IC may require, as well as what information officers should minimally report when a 360 is performed. Now, what are the 6 components of the 360? Number 1 is occupants. Victim rescue places firefighters at the greatest level of risk. Reports of occupants being trapped or missing should be quickly run to ground and evaluated to determine their level of credibility. And, neighbor reports someone might still be inside versus dispatch receiving calls from those actually trapped inside. Likewise, when fire personnel observe clues indicating that people still may be inside or areas where their survivability of victims may be possible, these findings must be communicated to the IC to ensure the strategy and tactics are alignment with the operational risk management profile. All right, we're going to do the second one, and then we're going to go to another music break. Number 2 comes in location and extent. To the degree possible, every effort should be made to quickly determine the location and extent of the fire. Effort should be focused on establishing weather conditions, indicates a contents fire, structure fire, or both. This is a good time to make a fire behavior prediction based on where the fire is located, where it is projected to be, and by reading the smoke conditions that are present. Together, this information is key to validating operational strategy and guiding ICs through the EIDM process, development of their IAP, and the extent to which firefighters are exposed to risk. So in all ways, the Fire Scene 360, I mean, it really comes in handy, just not for the firefighters, but to the occupants, to the neighbors. You get a good read on everything instead of just staying, say, in the front of the structure and, oh yeah, there's flames coming out of the side, but where is it particularly? You cannot see all the way around the fire. So putting people around the fire, or keep doing, if manpower is limited, you could walk around, the IC could keep walking around, but usually it's better to have eyes on all sides of the structure during a structure fire and communicating with the incident command center or the incident commander that's on scene. That way he knows you might need more manpower, might need to go in and save firefighters or occupants, or it's getting, so hot that it's starting to catch a neighbor's house on fire. So it's, like I said, it's nice to have eyes on all sides of the fire. So right now, talking about firefighting stuff, we're going to go to some George Strait. This is an oldie but goodie, one of my favorite, just because, being a fireman and all. Anyways, it's They Call Me the Fireman by George Strait here on the Firehouse Country Show with your DJ, Bobby B.
Military Broadcast Radio Network. My name is Dominic Lawson, and I am the host of The Startup Life, the show for entrepreneurs and career-minded professionals. And we are so glad and so eager to bring The Startup Life to the Military Broadcast Radio Network. Now, you may be wondering, who the hell am I? What the hell is The Startup Life? I'm glad you asked. So, first me. I'm an Army vet for 5 years, and while I was in the service, I had all these ideas for starting a company and stuff like that, but I wasn't sure what to do about that. So when I got out of the service, I was like, you know what, maybe I'm not ready just yet. But so I went back to work. The thing is about when you have that entrepreneurial mindset, those ideas just never go away. So I talked to my wife, and coming to find out, she had the same idea about starting a company. So we talked about it, and we started a company. We started Owls LLC, an education consulting firm where we write curriculum and do professional development with teachers, school districts, nonprofits, and things of that nature. And then from there, I started noticing all of these different business philosophies, the way a school has its business model, another business have their business model, and I started writing this blog. And the thing is about that blog is that, it was taking a lot of time. So my wife, being the smarter half of us, said, you know what, you should start a podcast. So in November 1st of 2016, that's exactly what we did. We started the Startup Life. And so that was 3.5 years ago. And now we've grown the show to over 160 episodes. Now, what you get from the Startup Life is we bring in the best business minds from around the world. We're talking Mark Randolph, the co-founder and first CEO of Netflix. We're talking about Tom Golisano, the founder and chairman of Paychex. We're even talking about the chairman of JetBlue Airways and Stanford business professor, Joel Peterson. And so we bring all of these great business minds and we bring them to you, MBR. So that way you can scale your entrepreneurial mindset. You can scale your leadership acumen, whether you're still in the service or you're about to become a veteran and start that path of civilian life. So if you're ready to upgrade your entrepreneurial mindset and you're ready to just totally level up, join me every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Military Broadcast Radio Network. Let's go.